I started using Canvas as a way to make grading easier with 150 kids. So it started off with more so just my tests, because it automatically can correct, multiple choice, true falses, things like that. And then all I have to grade is the essays. So it was a time saver in that. Then as I continued on last year, we started inputting, like, I could put worksheets in there if it was something that kids could do on the computer. It was some place where if I wanted them to visit a website, I could put a link in because they were more familiar getting into Canvas than their email. We started building up modules with rotations as well, and so we could plug in like all 4 rotations. And so like if went in and I knew I have rotation 1, I could click on it, and this is what we're doing. The kids could go, okay, you're at rotation 2, they know exactly what to click on. If my aide was gonna lead a rotation, she could click in station 3. But all that was just easy to get to, and it was a nice place to store those documents, kind of like a backup aside from just saving them on my computer or hard copies as well. So that was last year. This year, I have one of the tag enrichment groups, so I've kind of tried to play with it a step further. At that tech PD, I did the Mastery Paths half-day deal, and so I couldn't really think of a way to implement that yet with my history classes, but I tested out with my tag class in hopes of it's something that we could use next year for the Future Ready. Just looking at how things can kind of weave in and out of different places so that everyone ends up at the same place, but they get what they need. And I also liked the fact that it's like, I can say you have to complete this before you go to this kind of a thing. So that's kind of what I really played with a lot this year, in addition to everything I had last year, which was also nice because I could just copy the course. And so everything I had in there last year brought right over, and it kind of like auto formats dates and things like that. So it was just a matter of adjusting as opposed to recreating everything. So that was really nice setting up this year. And like my teaching partner's brand new to history, and so he can also copy my course, and so he now has those resources. Yeah. So I mean, it's made my life easier, it's made his life a little bit easier, but I think there's a lot of cool things going forward that I continue to kind of find out about that are cool to use and easy to use on there that make it a different learning experience.
That's awesome. So tell me what you think, what you like about Canvas.
I like how it has all of our assignments and different various grades and things all in one place and one platform, so we don't have to go, like, in middle school we had like 20 different websites that we had to remember the passwords for, different URLs, that sort of thing. It's nice to keep it all in one place.
Okay. And how do you access Canvas?
I mainly access it using my laptop. Occasionally, like, if I need to show my grades to my teacher or something, I'll use my phone just for convenience, but...
Do you ever get feedback from teachers on Canvas?
Occasionally. Some of them will be like, this is why you didn't get at this point or whatever, And a lot of teachers, or my English teacher at least, includes the rubric in the feedback section. So
you kind of know. It's no big surprise.
Yeah.
As much. Do they ever do audio feedback?
Not really, no.
Okay. Anything else about Canvas we should know?
Nothing off the top of my head.
This is the best thing ever.
It's better than Infinite Campus.
It is better than Infinite Campus. What do you think about while I'm filming? What do you think about the Microsoft Office suite? Do you use some of those things?
Definitely. Like, it's nice to have all of them like at our disposal, because I know I use PowerPoint for tons of different assignments or projects. I use Word like almost everything. And OneNote, it's nice to keep like everything in one like digital, so I can access it, like, because I have my home computer, which I like to use over my laptop. So I could access OneNote on my home computer and on my laptop. So.
How do you use OneNote?
Like, what do you mean?
How do you use OneNote?
Oh, well, I just keep all my different various like papers and stuff for quick reference. Like if I need to look back on one of my past papers that I did or different presentations to use for just points of reference, I guess.
Do you ever collaborate?
Yeah, sometimes we'll I know for geophysics especially, we use a lot of like collaborative OneNotes, so we can all work on the same project and keep all of our files in the same place, so we all have access to the same stuff, rather than having to like email everything constantly.
All right.
Thank you.
I like Canvas because it's easy to access your grades and stuff that you missed throughout the year or stuff. and it's very easy to use, especially on test. Just
I think Canvas, the best piece for the students and how they can utilize it is just the organizational piece of it. If a teacher uploads everything in there, then they can access that at all times, and it's always there, and it's not a lost document, which we encounter a lot. And they say, I didn't find it. Well, now they can just have that resource at all times.
Okay. Do you communicate through Canvas, like with students one-on-one? Do they ask you questions, or not so much?
Not so much this year.
Okay.
In the past, I have utilized it a lot more with the discussion board.
Sure.
And they would reply and with feeds, and then they would have to post kind of like an online college course when you have to give feedback on 2 other posts. We did that quite a bit. Messaging, not so much now. They utilize their email a lot more.
Oh, do they this year?
Yeah, surprisingly.
That's
yeah, it's a
weird.
different year, different group of students.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right. And then
Can I ask a
Yeah.
question? What about parents? Do you feel like they're more? with
I have noticed a
observing?
lot more active users with the parent. The what is that?
The observing.
The observing, thank you.
Yeah.
The observing, there is a lot more with this group, so I think as the years go on, more and more are catching on. And it's always after the first set of conferences too, we
Right.
notice, oh, they didn't know it, so then we send them to the library and then they're observing. And a lot more, I've gotten more emails, and they actually want more features for parents, is what I'm getting.
okay. Very good. Do you ever use Canvas as a formative assessment tool to like to get out the door, just to know what what has to happen next?
Absolutely. So I just have a whole list of formative assessments, and sometimes they'll be on paper, but a lot of the times I'll do your 3, 2, 1, ticket out the door. I utilize the discussion board quite a bit. That's just a quick way for them to post. I will external links. I'll post links to that, like the sticky note websites and things like that. So a lot of times, the main thing I use Canvas for is the organization. So it's all in one, and then they can go to other places, but they always know that it's the home base. So that's my formative assessment.
Okay.
Part.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
I think that Canvas provides the opportunity for students to get a number of touches on material. And they can go back as many times as they need to make sure they're hitting all the points. Teachers can do that too, to make sure they can update assignments, change them. Students are sometimes exposed to just one part of the learning process in the classroom. And then when that's done and they leave, they can reassure themselves by going back and looking at something again on Canvas. So for that purpose, I think it's really good.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's perfect, and that's you'll
She is
just,
perfect.
What?
She is perfect.
No, that's how.
She-
no, that's just like how that's what they'll say is if the more students can interact with
Yeah.
that,
Well,
that
and I think
content
it's-
in a different way too.
Now that people are starting to be able to use it, I think, here's what I think of Canvas. And this is my own interpretation.
Am I
That
turning
it's
this
like
off?
Oh, is
this.
this rolling?
Oh, I don't care.
yeah.
No,
But
just
it's
delete.
like this layer of something. And I feel like I've only scratched the first couple of layers to be able to use it to its full potential. That bothers me sometimes because I feel like I'm not using all those resources that I would like to use. I do know that you guys give instruction and in-service about uses of Canvas and those kinds of things. Me not being a tech person, I feel a little bit lost in those. And I know that Jenny has helped me sit down with me and walk me through the process. And even after walking through it a couple times, I still wasn't very comfortable using it alone. But now that we've done it 3 or 4 times on certain things, I feel much more capable.
You did a thing that last year where they like read to themselves on Canvas.
Oh yeah, we used Canvas as like a
Yeah.
video, audio, more of an audio playback where they could record their voices, and that's part of our curriculum in ESL is making sure that students know what they sound like and be able to monitor the progress that they're making.
That'd be good for all students to know that.
Probably.
Right, they use it in elementary for fluency.
Yeah.
And that's pretty
What
much
you're
what
doing,
ours
right?
is, yeah.
Right, yeah. No, that's very good.
Yeah.
Tell about what you did with you and Gabby did.
Oh, we had to cover the ESL or ELL standards for the whole staff at West High and West Middle. And what we decided to do through collaboration was to make a flip video, put it on Canvas. The video was maybe only between 10 and 20 minutes. It depended really on what we were supposed to go through. But it was mandatory testing or mandatory in-service from the state, so we had to get it together. And we put it in the flip form on Canvas. It was a video. There were talking points, there were graphs and charts, videos embedded into it. And then at the end, there was a very short kind of what did you learn assessment kind of a thing. And that all had to be done to get everybody in the building on, up to speed on the standards of ELL and what to use in the classroom and so forth. So that was done. We got a lot of good feedback from the staff. They liked pausing it when they needed to. They liked rewinding something when they needed to. That was nice. Also taking the assignment that was embedded right into Canvas, got that done. Those can be sent in reports downtown and said, this is everybody that was there. This is who's been in service. They're done. Here's our proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
And it also, and just for me, it gave the staff then when you guys met in the library
Right.
a chance to ask you questions and actually have
Right.
more in-depth conversations.
Well,
instead
and it was
of,
almost like they were prepared. Mm-hmm. Going through the video. I have questions about this, and it's not getting answered for me. So we would meet back in the library to kind of come down and just put everything together at the end if they had specific questions, or some people would email me. Some people would just ask at the meeting at the end, tell us more about this, or I've never heard of this, but that was nice. So then they could also put a face with, we've got a lot of new people in the building, and put a face with, I'm the only one here. So that was nice too.
yeah, that is
Very
nice.
Really
good.
nice,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really good. It helps the teachers be.
So it's not
learn.
all done on computer isolation. There's still that interaction with
Right, which is
teacher
important.
to teacher, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a tool.
They just would know the questions to ask.
Yeah.
Then
Right,
They would come
right.
prepared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was nice.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sandy.
That's cool. That's cool.
How could the tools of the Microsoft Suite and Canvas help you with a future school that you would like to see happen?
I think it would help us because it would let us access technology, and since our age is growing more, technology is growing more and more prevalent, it would prepare us for using technology in the workplace and later on in college. And it would also help us make it so that everyone in the group, if we had groups, would be able to access the information and stuff we're using.
I think it helps, like if you need to take something home, like Word, and you have like an Apple computer at home, it can help you like do your assignment that you need to do at home.
And with Microsoft, you have more options. So when you present, it's not just PowerPoint or just Prezi. There's more options in Microsoft. So for our students, we don't just want one option that the teachers give us. We want multiple options, and Microsoft has that for us.
And I think one of the good things about it is that you can make like folders so you don't lose any of your things and
Right.
you can stay organized.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
In Canvas, I use formative assessments really to help with looking at the data that we get from the test to see if there are any subjects that we need to go back and reteach, or I need to teach differently the next year, especially if they did poorly or if they do really well in a certain area. I know I might not need to spend as much time in that the next year.
Okay. Do you use them in class during the year?
Canvas?
Yeah, but assessments, like a pre-assessment to see like, oh, what do they know, what do they don't know?
Yep.
Use that? Yeah.
Yep. Sometimes I use formative assessments, just like even a pre-assessment, to see how they're doing in certain subject areas. To see, do I need to teach this more before we actually hit the formative assessment, so that way my students can really get the best grade that they can on the test.
Okay, very good. And then how about students in Canvas?
Students in Canvas.
What's the benefit?
Well, all right.
Okay.
In Canvas, we have it set up in my class to where every single day is a module, so students can go in and set up, or can go in and look at what they did the class before in case they missed. We have the notes in there, so they can just automatically click onto a link and it'll take them to the notes. All the assignments are posted in there, so if they ever miss, they can always go back and look at that, or if they're even studying for a formative assessment, they can go back and look through all the information that's on there.
Do you guys have consistency at West as far as modules? What's the benefit of everything being you don't have to answer about West High, but what's the benefit to students if everything's from class to class to class is in a module?
If
Or
everything's,
consistent way?
yeah, if everything is set up into modules, I feel that it really helps the students. They're able to go back and, anything that they missed, if it's a video, if it's notes, if it's an assignment, they can go back, they can see that they missed that, and they can get caught up way faster than what I found previously. And consistency-wise throughout West, we have a large majority of the science teachers right now, and there's some other teachers throughout West that are using the module approach, and it's working great. Anything else?
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
If all the classes were set up in a very similar manner, especially with Canvas, everyone having modules set up the same way, students would understand exactly how to navigate through that class in case they're missing anything. If there's a commonality throughout the school or the district, it would make it, very beneficial for the students.
For
Okay,
parents
yep.
too.
And for parents, yeah,
Okay.
definitely for parents.
Yeah.
And that's what, I tell parents the same thing.
Yeah.
Like when they ask, everything's right there.
Okay, so tell me about the statistics.
When you take a test, you can get statistics per question for how the class did, how your grade did as a whole. So you can see like 90% of kids got question number 1 right. Only 30% of kids got question number 2 right. And so it maps it all out for you in a way that you can kind of look back and say, okay, maybe next year, or I need to reteach, or whatever it is, this concept, or okay, they got this one, we're good there. So that was really nice, just being able to look through that and it's calculated for you.
It's awesome.
Yeah, very good, yeah. So that is always been.
That's what Sandy wanted too.
Really?
No, just
Yeah,
Okay.
so Canvas. What?
So I use SpeedGrader.
and Canvas.
Yes,
Mhm.
I like to grade things quickly. I use discussions. I use quizzes. I'm getting better at, hi honey, I'm getting better at uploading stuff
Yeah.
into Canvas. I'm getting, better and better at that stuff.
Do you think it helps the students in any way?
I think it's a consistent place for them to go, and I think it's good. It could,
Yeah,
you.
that's good. Yeah, thank you.